and welcome. This is Ruth and this is the Remember When We Danced memory book die set. It's huge, and if you have a little look at the first video I made with this, which is the one where I made the box, I'll just bring the boxes in here and show you. That's the first one I made, and this actually holds the memory book. It's really beautiful. This is one with an acetate lid on it. Gorgeous as well, but doesn't have to be used for a memory book. And then this is another little one I made with some of the panels. Go back and have a little look at that video. I'll link it down below in the description, and you'll see a run through all of this die set. It'll be explained in detail there, and you'll also see that beautiful new paper pad as well. So there are actually two paper pads, a 12 by 12 and an 8 by 8, and you'll be able to see all of that there. But I've made the box in that one, and in this video I'm now going to make a memory book. So you can see all these really beautiful dies, and you can make lovely cards, or you could make scrapbook pages, all sorts of things with these. But I'm actually going to make a memory book that will fit inside one of these boxes. So I'm going to do some die cutting and use some of that beautiful paper from the new paper pad, and I'll be right back. Don't forget, in the meantime, if you haven't already subscribed, maybe you'd like to do that and hit the notification bell. Keep up to date with all my videos, because there's lots and lots coming along, especially this week. I'm not actually sure what order the dies come in for this big launch, but there's some absolutely beautiful die sets that you're not going to want to miss. So if you subscribe and hit the notification bell, you'll be kept up to date with those. And if you do enjoy it at the end, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and let me know what you think. My affiliate links for this will be down below. There will be loads and loads of photos at the end of the last video, and I'll have a few photos at the beginning of this one, but I'll have loads at the end of as well. So don't forget to hold on and check all of those out too. You'll notice as you go through the book that I actually have only used the main sentiment here on the cover of the memory book, and even on one of the boxes. There's some absolutely beautiful sentiments in there, but I reckon that some of the other design team, and definitely the in-house Tonic designers, will be using those, and you'll be able to see what they look like on lots of their samples. But I just thought that I would tell you what they are, let you see them, and then I'm going to keep my book a lot more generic so that it can be used by anybody for putting any sentiments on. And that's the only reason I'm not using them, because they are really beautiful. So this one says remember when, but we've also got we, he, she, kissed, danced, smiled, and you can make that up into we kissed, they met, they smiled, she danced. And then we've also got this one, and that's a debossed sentiment. It's really beautiful, for the very first time. So I'm thinking you could use some of these for a baby album as well. Remember when she or he, the baby, smiled for the very first time, and all sorts of things like that. But that's the only reason why I'm not adding them in here, but I do want to show you them here and tell you what they are. So this one is Under Moonlight, and there's a little question mark after that one. And then just to show you actually how they look, this is Smile that I've cut out here, cut it out in gold, and there's little backing plates for all of the wording as well. So I hope you enjoy those, and you can use those definitely on other albums as well, but just I haven't used them in this one. I'm going to make a memory book with a spine in it this time, but as I said before, you can use this for the little holes, or you can punch your own holes and do different things in it. And don't forget to have a little look at my memory book playlist, because you'll be able to see different combinations of all of that on there. So I have, obviously then, this is the size of the outside of the box. This is the inside size here, and I reckon that obviously then would be too big for the book, because it would just have to be pushed right down in. So I've gone for this one, which is the next size in, and that's got a piece on it here that you can fold round and use to make the part of the spine as well, or the back of it. But what I've done is cut this out twice and just cut it right across that line there, and I'm going to use a piece of card that I've already cut out here to make the little back panel for the book. So I have two of these, and those are going to be the front and the back. Sorry, there they are. That's one of them there. So that's the front, and there's the back, and there's exactly where I have just cut right down. Now I'll be able to decorate those and add extra panels on and all the rest of it to strengthen it, but sometimes I leave the longer bit on and attach it onto a straight piece here, but this time I'm actually going to glue this panel on here, and then this one on here, and that then will become the spine part of the book. So this measures 6 centimeters across, and it's 9.8 centimeters long, because that's exactly the length of this little, this little piece here. So 6 across, and I have scored it at 1 centimeter in from each side, and this center panel then is 4 centimeters wide. Now I've taken this little panel here and I've cut that out twice, and as you can see I've already gone ahead and glued one together, but I'm just going to show you, if you haven't made one before, I'm going to show you how to assemble this. So when it comes, when you've just die cut it, you'll see there are little marks on it. There's the die, and there'll be these little marks here. So the score or the fold or whatever down here that has the little mark on each side of it is the one that gets folded up into a mountain fold and glued together. So really what you're doing is putting glue down here. I should have used not the thin nozzle for this, but anyway, I've got it now. So down there, and then on here as well. And then you're going to pinch both of those together. So we've got this one, and then this one. So now you've got a channel down the center, a little piece at each side, and 2 pieces here where you can add a page on in your memory book, and it should look flat at the back like that. And there's the profile of it. And I've got 2 of them to fit inside this little piece that I've made here. And I've cut those, actually should have said that, I actually cut those down to 9.5 centimeters because I wanted them just to be a little bit shy of the outside of the box. So tiny little bit there and there. And I'm going to go ahead and glue this right out to that fold there, and then the same here. And they'll both fit nice and neatly on there. I've taken that little piece then that has the 2 folds, and I've just added this in here, and I've glued that directly on, as you can see, onto the back or the front of the book. And I've got the other piece here now, and I'm just going to glue that on there, and then that's the bones of the book made. And you can go ahead and make pages and decorate and just really enjoy yourself now. But that is really lovely. It's a really good place to start. And I should have said there, I've actually cut the book out in 300 GSM because I really love a good sturdy book. I have cut the little spine pieces here out in 216 GSM card, but sometimes I actually do that in 300 GSM as well. So just whatever you prefer. This time I thought I might just make it a little bit more flexible, but either is pretty good. I've gone a little bit ahead then with the book, so you can see there where I put the spine in, and then now I've gone ahead with the exact same die that I used for the front and back covers, and I've cut a piece off, a beautiful piece here with a little border. Unfortunately I'm going to cover up some of that in a minute or two, but I thought that was a really gorgeous piece there. And I've just put a plain piece of navy on the back. That's really just to save my paper, but if you were doing that, I would suggest you put some patterned paper on there as well. And a piece down here, and then you can see that I've also added this little strip on here. So I cut that strip out, and then I just folded it around here so that I knew it was going to be the same depth as the spine, and then I transferred it over to here, and you can see the 2 folds in there. So when the book is sort of full, the little piece will come up to here, and that's sort of, well, you can see it there. So now I'm going to add a little bit of gold because I think that really just needs some gold in there to bring that all together. And I've already got a piece here, and I've cut that out with 2 of the other dies, and you can see there's a really beautiful embossed pattern on it there. And then I used another one to cut inside, so you can see how beautiful that gold is on top of the beautiful floral paper there. Now I have added double-sided tape along the back of that because I think if I'd added glue on there you would see just a little bit of a ripple through that, and I don't want that to happen, so that's why I've added the double-sided tape. I don't like that little glue line that you sometimes get. I'm sure you're fed up listening to me rabbiting on about that, but I just don't like that little line that you get. Anyway, I'm going to fiddle and fidget with this, so I'm going to speed this up while I take this off and put it over. But you can also see that just before I do that, that I have added a little piece on here as well, and I cut that out and just glued it, or actually I've put it on 3D foam pads, as you can see, and then that means that this piece will slip through it. But I'm just going to speed this up now as I remove the backing off this and put it on. That frame is absolutely beautiful. I just love the way the gold gives a bit of a pop to that, and it really draws your eye into the centre where the flowers are. So now I've cut out the Remember When, and you can see there's the die, and then this is the background, the backing plate, and I've cut that out in beautiful pearlescent card, and that is going to go on there. And then I've cut out one of the big butterflies. Now there's a butterfly there, and obviously it's going that way, so this one is going to go here. And I folded it over so that the wings will sit up a little bit, and I think I'll just leave it like that. Now that will give a bit of dimension, and I know when it goes into the box then that can still sit up like that, so I just need to hold that down a little until the glue grabs. So now when we open the book up, you can see I've used the same die again and just cut off the little tab piece that I did for the front cover and all the other bits and pieces, and I've covered in here and I've covered here with the beautiful paper. So that's inside the front panel and the back panel, and then I've gone ahead and added 2 pages, and I'm just going to show you how to add the third one, and then the next one in here is going to be slightly different. So I have 2 exactly the same at the back, and I'm going to put another one in here. So it's exactly the same die cut and same shape, cut in this exactly the same way as I did for the front cover and everything else, and I've trimmed off the little panel that was down the side here, and now I'm going to glue 2 of these together just like this, and these are double as well, so this will be exactly the same as what I've done here. I'm going to glue both of those together, but you'll see that I leave this little tab free from any glue just for a moment or two. That's the area where I'm going to add it right onto the little spine. Now if you want, you can actually leave the side open and use that as a little pocket as well, but I'm closing these ones up. Now that's a good sturdy page, and all I need to do now is put some glue on both sides of this little piece here, and then I'll just open this side up and pop that on there. To decorate the next couple of pages before I actually go ahead and add this other page in here. So on the first page here on the inside cover, I've taken this die with the little pinhole edging on it, and I've cut that out in pearlescent card, and I'm going to glue that on here, and that navy against that beautiful ivory. I think that's called ivory sheen. I'm going to leave a little list of all the different patterns, or sorry, all the different card and things that I think go along with this paper pad. I'll leave that down below in the description of the video so you can have a little look there, but that goes really, really beautifully with it. And I always think if you've got matte paper, something with a sheen or something with a little bit of shine just brings that out, and it's really, really gorgeous. Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and add that on there, and again, because it's pearlescent, I don't want to add that with glue, so I'm going to use double-sided tape, and I'll spare you the anguish of watching me this time. I'll do that off camera. And again, I have cut another one exactly the same size, and I've trimmed it. It's slightly bigger than half, but I'm going to attach that on there. So I've already fussy cut a beautiful big flower and added it on here, and a little strip of card across there just to strengthen that and to break the colour up a little bit. So I'll be adding this onto here with double-sided tape, and then this pocket onto here with that, and after that I've cut a little tag out, and that will just pop in there. There you are. Now for the page right opposite that, I decided that I would like to decorate that with the beautiful little tab. It's actually one of the side panels from the box. It's this one, and I'll show you just exactly where it goes here. It's this edge here of the box, but I wanted to use it for the book as well, so I've cut that out 3 times, and then I have also cut the panel out and put the panel onto it, and you can see here it'll look like this, and I've got 3 of those. But then I took a panel of white card, and this measures exactly the same width as the die cut itself, and it is, let's just check, 13 centimeters long. And you can see I've already gone ahead and I've furnished these little tabs back here, and these are going to be the glue tabs, and I'm just leaving this one plain. I've already gone ahead and glued one right over the back like that, and then I've put this little piece, the same as I've done on the front, I've put that on here on 3D foam pads again, and I've added my little tab on here, really just by the tail of it, and I'm folding this up, and the idea is that that will fold through there when I get another couple of these on. So first of all, I'm just going to put one right down level with the bottom, so as soon as I get, I'll set the book over so we can see it better. I'm going to put glue right across here, and then I'll hold that in place, and then I'll be able to go ahead with the next one, put glue along the tab here, and put that sort of halfway between the other 2 there, and then you'll see when I fold that down that should look like that, and this will fold up. Then I can go ahead and glue that panel directly onto the book. So I will just glue these other little panels on, and we'll go from there. So I'm thinking you could add a little photograph up here and write something about it here, do the same here and here, and then you've got a bigger area to write something on there, or put another little photograph or a little memory on there as well. But that's how that all closes up. My next page then is going to be just either a really pretty page, or something that you could add a photograph onto the top of, or you could even add some journaling or whatever you like. But I thought it just needed a plain page now, because the next one I'm going to add on is going to be quite detailed. And there you are. Now the book started off 300 GSM pages doubled over, and now we've got lots and lots of layers on, and it's really adding up to the bulk and the thickness of the whole thing, but that makes it really sturdy, and it makes it feel really good. But it also means that, you know, you're not going to be too long before you fill that spine up, and that's why you do really need the catch to be quite deep here as well, to have quite a bit of space there. But of course you can just fold this somewhere else and have 2 or 3 different places on it if you feel that you're not going to add as much onto it. So there we are, and now it's time to add the little pages in here. Now I've sat and thought about this for quite a while today, and I wanted to do something really different in here, something that I hadn't done before. So I have, just let me see, lots and lots of pieces cut out here. So first of all, I have taken 2 page dies in the smaller size, and I've left the tab on right out to here. So that's this die, and you can see there where there's no cutting edge, and I just left that on. So this actually measures 3.5 centimeters, and I have only glued those together by the little piece down here, and the rest of this is open, and the rest of this is open. And as you can see then on the inside, I've taken the same die and I've cut it out and just cut that tab right off there, and I've covered those in navy. And I hope you're going to like this, but I am now going to just put glue on this part here, and then put that over the tab in the center, and that gives me a shorter page this way, but I've kept this here so that it's all still in proportion with the rest of it. So I think I'll just decorate it first, and then I'll go ahead and add it into the book, but that's how it's going to look whenever I have it in. So let's just set the book aside, and I'll show you what I have planned for this. So I took one of the dies that cut out this beautiful shape. It's actually the one with the little pattern on, if I can find it here. Yeah, this one. So that's got a little debossed pattern, and although you can't see it very well in this, it is actually there, so that's how I know that's the size of it. And I cut that out from the patterned paper that had the sort of panels along it. It's different stripes of colour. And then I die cut an oval out of the centre of it, and I'm presuming that most of you will have a set of layering oval dies. I cut an oval out of the centre of it, and then I made myself a little frame with gold. So you can see here that I have actually folded that in half like this, and then I have folded these two tabs back like this as well. But if you look carefully on the inside, you'll see that, see it there, I've actually cut out a bird and the flower, but I didn't have the full bird and flower and I didn't need it. So I've glued them on in behind there because I just wanted them to pop out like this. And that then is going to go on here. So if I glue this down, I am going to make sure that this is lined up here and here, and I'm just going to glue it by these glue tabs here. That means when the book folds over, it will close over. I'll show you it once I have glued it. So now whenever I close the page over, it will look like this, and when I open it up, isn't that really, really lovely? There's a lovely little bit of dimension on it there. I've then taken some of the little dies from the, I'll just show it here, Beautiful Moments tag sentiment die set, because that has dies in it that cut out the little pieces that you'll see on the inside cover of your paper pad. And one of them is from the big paper pad and one's from the smaller one. And you can see there I've cut the white out with the bigger tag and the little piece inside with the smaller tag from that die set. And I wanted those to go on here. So I've created myself little pockets for this just by fussy cutting some flowers out. And have a close look there, do you see? Whoops, those don't all come in one piece. So I've actually just fussy cut bits and pieces of flowers off and put them together like that. I am going to put that on like that. And then I've done the same thing here. I'm actually going to add another flower onto that one. So you can see it doesn't even have to be the full flower. That's going to go at the side here. I'll just glue that in behind, and that gives that a little bit of extra strength to make a little pocket, because I'm actually going to use these as the pockets to hold that tag in. And there you are. That's that. And then on this side I've done exactly the same with 3 pieces again, and I'm going to glue that on there. And then this little tag will go in here, and this one will go in there. And doesn't that look so pretty? So I'm really only going to add glue down around the outside edge of this here, just like that. And I'll add it, just make sure that your tag is there and it fits, and there you are. That actually is one of the reasons why I love paper pads like that have so many beautiful things that you can cut out. I absolutely love fussy cutting, and you can make little pockets with them, you can decorate things with them, and it just looks really, really pretty. But I love to see elements like that you can use for all sorts of things, not just as a background paper. Isn't that really pretty? And it just sits out really, really beautifully there. Now to decorate the front of this little piece, I've taken some card here and I've put navy on top of it. But before I glued the navy one down, I die cut this little slit across the middle of it, and there it is. So I've now only glued it around the outside, and that it actually makes a little pocket. So again, I have cut 2 little tags here, just one for here and one for here, and those just fit lovely in there. And you can see there that even if they come up a little bit here, because this page is smaller than the other pages in the book, that it doesn't really matter. So I've actually gone ahead and cut out the beautiful little paper clips. I think absolutely gorgeous. And I'm actually just going to glue those on here. So this one, they could go either way. I think that one will go on there, and that comes right down, and it's sort of tied up at the top. But the other one has a little bird, and the little bird sits up, and that still doesn't matter because there's plenty of room on there. So I'll glue those on. I'll just use my little fine nozzle here for that, and then they'll fit down in there, and I can glue the whole thing on. I've cut this out in the same satin effect mirror card as I used for the background there, and now I'm just going to put that on here. And now I'm going to go ahead and glue this onto here, and then I'll be able to sort of see the layout of the two pages together there and see what I want to put on there. So this time you don't need to put glue the whole way down here because that would just be too much. So just open this up and put glue on both sides in there, and then you can go ahead and add that onto the spine from there. On the other side of that then I've put a panel of the beautiful paper there, and I then cut out two of these little pockets from white card, and you can see here you just score and fold them right along those fold lines there and glue those two tabs in at the back, and that gives you a little pocket to slip something into, maybe a little memory or a little photograph or something. There's also another tab here because you could glue two or three of them together in a little row, but for the two that I'm putting on here I've actually snipped that little tab off, and then I've just put a loop of ribbon a loop of ribbon through the top there, and then I've added this little leaf, and I really love that leaf there, but it actually cuts those pieces out. So you can see here what I've done. I've run a piece of double-sided tape down the back of that just to hold the pieces in because I thought it was really nice like that. And I'm now going to add these on here. I'll maybe add some foam pads just on the back of them, and I want to put one there and just put the little leaf on there as well. Yeah, I think the foam pads would just add a little bit of dimension that would be nice on there. So let's do that. On the page opposite this then, I've taken the same die as the page was cut with again. I trimmed the piece off here, and before I glued that down, or before I'm going to glue it down, I've taken this little slit die here, so it's a smaller one this time, and I've cut a little slit up in at the top there, and then I've taken the little die that made the fold over part that I used on the box earlier on. So that's this one, and I have folded the back in there and glued it, and the top is on here, and you can see there that I've put a little magnet on that. So now I'm going to glue this down, and then I'll add the next piece on after that, but I needed this glued in behind before I glue this part in place. Now I need to cut a piece to cover that magnet because you don't want that showing. So I've cut the same piece out again. Obviously I didn't need the back of it, and I'm just going to trim that right across slightly below the score line there, and then I can go ahead and glue that on there. It has plenty of room to move back and forwards, but it covers that little magnet up. To make the little piece for in below here then, I've taken this die, and it's a little page die, so it doesn't have a cutting edge here, and I've cut two of those out, and on one of them I've trimmed it off directly down from that little nick right down there, and the little page then looks like this, and on the other one I've scored it down there, but I've left about another 1.5 centimeters roughly on here. And now I'm going to glue this little tab in behind one of these. So just like that, it's really just to make a little fold over piece. So I'll glue that on there, and then I'm going to glue the back of that onto the card page here. So just like that, and you can see I've already gone ahead and put a little magnet on there because I've already sort of lined up where that should be, and the magnet just fits on there nicely. So I am going to just lift that off, and I'll put glue on the back of this, and then that will show me just exactly where that's to go, because the magnet will catch on it and I'll know it's exactly in the right place then. And then I've cut the same panel again, except I've trimmed it off just the way I did for the top card there, and I'm going to take that off and glue this directly on top of here, and then that will just close down over. But whenever I close that over and get this all glued, then that little pocket opens down like that, and you can pop something in there as well. finished off that little tab with the little end piece on it there. I thought that was really, really beautiful, and the gold looks really kind of classy against that navy. So it's this little die, and it debosses that beautiful little leafy pattern, and that's how it looks whenever it's finished there. On the next two pages then, I've put patterned paper on the background, exactly the same size as the actual page itself. And then sometimes I do this, I do the right hand one first. I've just made a little pocket the way I did earlier on in the book, the same as I've done here. So I've cut it out in the pearlescent card, and then I've fussy cut a flower on top and a little strip there just to differentiate and also to strengthen the top. And I've just glued all these outer edges here, and obviously not across here. And I've made a little matted tag or whatever, and I'm going to put that in there, and that's a little flower coming from the corner which matches this one. So on the opposite one then, I've cut two dies out together to make a frame, so an outer die and then an inner die, and I've used that on navy card. And then I've made the bigger one again, I've cut it again on vellum, and this time I'm just going to glue that from down here, and I'm going to leave the top open so that you can put a photograph or whatever you want inside there. But I was actually going to use acetate. That was what I had picked out first of all, but I just thought that the vellum would be lovely looking, because there's just a subtle kind of vintage feel of all of that, and the vellum just looked really, really lovely with it. Not saying the acetate wouldn't, because it obviously would be absolutely beautiful too, but that's just the kind of look that I wanted to go for. So it's open up at this edge here, and you can put a big photograph or something inside there that you either want to have a vellum overlay on, or that you actually just like to lift in and out as well. Now, I've also cut out a little bird again, and it's going to go on here, and a little flower, and again you can see it doesn't actually quite fit. There's a straight edge on it, so the little flower is just going to go in behind there, and that will make that a little bit bigger, and I'm going to pop that right on there. Do you know, I might just add that with a little bit of dimension, and I'll put some 3D foam pads on there too. Now on the next side of this one, which is actually the page just before the inside cover, I've covered that with pearlescent card again, and then I've taken the smaller die which I've used on several of the other pages, and I've picked the beautiful pattern paper with the bird right there and cut the slit right across here. So now I'm going to glue that on there, and then I'll be able to put some tags in there. Rather nice. I really love this paper. Now, I don't know if you do the same as I do here. Quite often I add all my decorations on. I'm actually doing it this time as well. I will come back as soon as I have all of this attached and check if I need any flowers and any other embellishments, because there are some really, really beautiful flower and leaf dies in that die set, and I might want to add them on afterwards. Particularly want to add some gold accents maybe. I've got this beautiful leaf cut here and some other bits and pieces, and I do really like those. So anyway, that's going on there, and I'll make some tags to go in there as well. I fussy cut another little bird there, and I actually glued it onto some card to make it just a little bit more stable, and then I popped that one up on 3D foam pads just to give a little bit of dimension there. And I cut this butterfly out, and I've glued it down at the point here, but I've put some 3D foam pads in here, and then there's my little tag which just slips neatly in through that little slit there. So on my back cover on the inside here, I'm going to make a little tag with one of the little padlocks, because I've just realized that I haven't actually used it even in the box. So I'm going to show you how that is made up. But first of all, I've got this panel that I'm going to attach on here. So you'll probably remember that I added the navy patterned panel on whenever I was making the book up in the first place, and now I'm just going to go ahead and decorate that. So that, I really, really love that navy card. It's beautiful. So if you remember back to here where I made this with a little magnet closure, the die that I used to make these two pieces, I'm going to use again, and this time I have joined them together in exactly the same way. We're going to use them in this orientation instead of upright, so it's landscape instead of portrait. And again, I'm going to go ahead and glue that down there. But first of all, I've cut out this piece that you've seen me use before, and you've also hopefully seen the little part where I used it on the box for the card as well. So I am going to glue that onto the back there before I glue the whole thing down, and that will just go there, and then I'll show you the next part after that. Now I've cut out this little piece with the two little round holes in the centre, and I used the slitted one for the box earlier on, and I'm just going to glue this together. So you really just fold all those little score lines over and then glue this centre panel together and hold that for a minute or two. Now I am then going to put some glue on here, just down those two little wings when they're spread out like that, and I am going to pop this right through the hole in here, this slit, like that, and fold that back and then press that down, and now I know that's in the right place. Now I've taken this little die here, and that's the one, if you remember, that I used here. I've cut it out twice and I've already glued one onto here, but I'm just going to add the other one on now. It's really, really beautiful in the mirror card. You could make that little latch part just in plain card and then even just put the gold over on the top of that, but that looks really lovely, and it takes away the plain gold effect on it there. And now I'm going to get all the pieces and show you how to make that little padlock, and that will hold that closed, and then you can open and close it like that. To make the little padlock then you'll need this die. It's actually 3 all in one there, and you can cut out 4 of these, and I've cut out 3 in white and glued them on together there with the gold one on top. I really should have put a gold one on the back too, but you can remember to do that. So that's 4 of them glued together. I have cut out 4 of these, and 2 of them are actually white and 2 are gold, and I've glued them together there, and I've added the little decorative piece on top of that as well. So there's really 3 layers, I suppose, on that one and 2 on that one. And then on this one you're going to need 6 of those, and you see how chunky that is. You glue all of that together, and then don't do another thing with it until all of that glue is dry, because this piece goes in here and it's got to move freely up and down, and you definitely don't want any glue that's not dried properly, because that will catch, and that's the whole mechanism of this little padlock. So when you've done that, then you can go ahead and glue on here, being really, really careful not to get any glue in the center part, and exactly the same thing on here, but having this in here in the middle. So we'll just put some glue on the back of this and glue that down. Now be really, really careful that no glue goes anywhere apart from the parts that you need it on. If necessary, I would just leave that aside for a minute or two and make sure that everything's completely dry. Now I know I haven't got any in there, so I'm safe enough, but just be extra careful. Then that goes in there, and you're going to put glue on here. And then this piece goes on top there. It's a really cute little mechanism, but you just have to be sure and be very careful about the glue, and it does work. There you are. So that is the piece that I'm going to add onto the inside of the book here, right on there, and you can see there, you can just open it up, slide it through that little hole and close the little padlock. I just want to show you the difference between these little pieces here. On the boxes I've used the one with the little slit down there, and you can put ribbon through there, and on the book I've used the one with the little circle, the little hole in the center, so then this little padlock fits down through there. Now obviously you could alternate those. You can have this one on here and you could have that little padlock on the box as well, and that would be really, really beautiful. Now I'm just going to have a little look through my book, because sometimes at this stage I decide that I want an extra little flower here or there, whatever. I've already added some extra pieces on, because Would you believe it? I had to stop and tidy my desk a little bit. I normally leave it to the end of every project, and then I decide that I'm going to have a big clear up before I start again. This time the area that I was working in got smaller and smaller and smaller, so I had about just the space that you could see in front of you there on the screen, and everywhere else was so jam-packed with stuff I couldn't even work. So I've got had a big clear up now, and here we are. So I will have a little look and see, and then if I add anything else, I'll be back and show you that.